The CEO stood alone in the crowded city park, surrounded by people but feeling completely invisible. His expensive suit couldn't protect him from the ache in his chest. That morning, his world had quietly fallen apart in a way no boardroom failure ever had. Then a small voice cut through the noise. "Mister, you look really sad. Before we begin, take a moment to support stories like this. If you enjoy heartfelt, inspiring stories that remind us of the power of kindness, please subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments." This is Heartfelt Moments, where small acts of love make big changes. Jonathan Hale was known across the country. In business magazines, they called him a visionary. On television, they praised his sharp mind and relentless drive. He built a billion-dollar company from nothing, working day and night, sacrificing weekends, friendships, and eventually, his marriage. What they never showed was the man sitting on a cold park bench, holding his phone with a final text message still glowing on the screen. "I can't do this anymore, Jonathan. I've tried. I'm leaving." His wife was gone. Not angrily. Not dramatically. Just, gone. And for the first time in decades, Jonathan had no meeting to run to, no problem to solve, no deal to close that could fix the emptiness he felt. He didn't even realize tears were running down his face. That's when the little boy appeared. He was about 6 years old, wearing worn sneakers and a blue hoodie that looked a size too big. His hair was messy, his cheeks smudged with dirt from play. He stood a few feet away, holding a half-eaten cookie. Jonathan quickly wiped his eyes, embarrassed. "I'm fine, kid," he muttered, staring at the ground. The boy tilted his head, studying him carefully. "No, you're not," he said softly. "You look like I did when my dad left." Those words hit harder than any insult Jonathan had ever faced. Before Jonathan could respond, a woman approached, slightly out of breath. "Ethan, I told you not to wander off," she said gently. Then she noticed Jonathan's face and paused. "I'm sorry," she added quickly. "He doesn't mean to bother you." "It's okay," Jonathan said quietly. The boy, Ethan, didn't move. He climbed up onto the bench, leaving a respectful space between them. "When I'm sad," he said, swinging his legs, "my mom hugs me. It helps a lot." Jonathan gave a weak smile. "That's nice of her." Ethan nodded seriously. Then he looked straight at Jonathan and said the words that would stay with him forever. "My mom hugs me when I'm sad. She can hug you too." The woman froze. "Ethan?" But Jonathan raised a hand. His throat tightened. "It's all right." He looked at the boy. "Why would your mom hug a stranger like me?" Ethan shrugged. "She says people aren't strangers when they're hurting." There was something about that simple sentence that broke through Jonathan's walls. He hadn't realized how long it had been since someone cared about his pain without wanting anything in return. The woman smiled softly. "I'm sorry," she said again. "I'm Sarah. He just has a big heart." Jonathan stood slowly. "Jonathan," he replied. After a pause, he added, "Thank you." Sarah hesitated, then opened her arms gently, as if asking permission. Jonathan felt ridiculous for a moment. A powerful CEO, about to be hugged by a stranger in a park. But something inside him gave in. He stepped forward. The hug was warm. Simple. Human. And unexpectedly, Jonathan felt his shoulders shake as months, no, years, of bottled-up pain came pouring out. Sarah didn't say a word. She just held him, steady and kind. Ethan smiled. "See? It works." Jonathan laughed through his tears. A real laugh. One he hadn't felt in a long time. They sat together for a while after that. Jonathan learned that Sarah worked 2 jobs. That Ethan loved drawing superheroes. That life wasn't easy for them, but they faced it together. Before they parted, Jonathan reached into his wallet and stopped himself. For once, money didn't feel like the answer. "Thank you," he said instead. You have no idea what this meant to me. That night, Jonathan couldn't sleep. Not because of stress, but because his mind was awake in a new way. He kept thinking about Ethan's words. About a hug given freely. About kindness without conditions. The next morning, Jonathan did something no one expected. He postponed meetings. He walked through his company's offices, actually seeing the people who worked for him. He listened. He asked questions. He remembered names. Weeks later, he launched a company program offering mental health support, flexible hours, and paid time off for families. Not for publicity. Not for profit. But because he finally understood that success meant nothing without compassion. Months passed. One afternoon, Jonathan returned to the same park. He sat on the same bench, hoping, though he didn't know why, that he might see them again. He did. Ethan ran toward him, waving. "Mr. Jonathan." Sarah smiled. "Looks like you made a friend." Jonathan knelt down. "I never thanked you properly," he said to Ethan. "You helped me when I needed it most." Ethan thought for a moment. "Did you get a hug when you were sad?" Jonathan nodded. "Yes. And I started giving them too." Ethan grinned. "Good. Then you're doing it right." As Jonathan walked away that day, his life wasn't perfect. But his heart was lighter. Kinder. More open than it had ever been. All because a little boy believed that love should be shared. Kindness doesn't need a title, a bank account, or permission. Sometimes, it looks like a hug. Sometimes, it sounds like a simple sentence from a child. And sometimes, it changes a life forever. If this story touched your heart, let it remind you that even the smallest act of kindness can reach someone who needs it more than you'll ever know. Go out today and be someone's reason to feel seen, cared for, and loved.